Hey, what's going on, everybody? So, I wanted to make another video based on the polls that I got on my story about quarantine and how it's kind of affected me and how to kind of cope specifically with um the effects that it's having on both our relationships with other people and our relationships with ourselves. So, full disclosure, I'm still kind of figuring this out because there's just been like some silly stuff going on recently, and I'm kind of trying to sort that out with those people. And but I guess that's a good first bullet point is communication is everything in every relationship. Like, don't let people tell you, oh, like, um I was feeling like this and this, so that's why I didn't like communicate with you, or that's why I just like didn't say anything to you for like 4 or 5 days. Because it's like, look, I mean, I get why people like when people need their space, they need their space, right? But I feel like especially in these like times where everything's being tested, like our mental fortitude is being tested, our loyalty is being tested, our love for each other really is being tested. I feel like we have to, like, now more than ever, especially like even just considering like the social climate of what's going on with the protests and the election and all this stuff. It's like I feel like now is the time where it's most important for us to kind of come together as a community and as a generation and really like take care of each other. So the first thing being that, remember, like, you have friends, like, trust, and I definitely struggle with that. Like, I definitely feel like sometimes I feel very lonely. That's mainly because of my conditions. Like, I feel like very unappreciated, or I feel like very undervalued. But it's like, realistically, you have friends, bro. Like, there are people out there who care about you. I care about you. If you feel like, if nothing else, like, trust me, I really do care about you. And um you need to lean on those people, because you can't like sparing, because I hear this a lot too when I like deal with the people that I'm like talking about previously, like the people that just kind of disappear, where it's like, I get the whole I don't want to burden you with my stuff thing, but I at least for myself, I want to say this, like, it's never a burden for me. Like, I'm your friend because I fucking love you as a person, and like I would never consider your issues or your feelings or your pain to be a burden. I would want to do whatever possible to kind of heal that burden for you, or if not, lead you in a direction where you're doing it for yourself most effectively. Just as long as you're getting better, I feel like that's the most important thing for me personally. So, first big bullet right there is definitely learn to lean on your friends and your loved ones. Um, Secondly, um, it's really just kind of about the way that you address yourself and the way that you talk to yourself, because everybody likes to talk about this whole concept of mindset is everything, and I totally agree, it is. And especially now with, like, the fact that people have to quarantine and we have to be alone, and there's like all these like very difficult obstacles that we have to deal with. I definitely think that mindset is important, and I actually wrote about this on our blog. The way that you talk to yourself is very key to boosting not only your own self-esteem and your own self-image, but it really like does to change your life in terms of like the results that you get. Maybe not all the time, like obviously you have to lose to win, right? Like, you can't just succeed in everything all the time, because that would be super super boring. But like, really, the way that you talk to yourself very much determines a lot of what your life is going to look like. Because if you're constantly just like berating yourself, like, oh, like, I'm not this, I'm not that, like, I'm not worthy, I'm not like you know? And if you just keep doing that, you're, especially now when it's like so hard to see your friends and like find those comforts or even like distractions for some people, you're gonna drive yourself crazy. Like you're literally like, especially being in isolation, like you're just, I don't, because I will admit I did that for the first month and a half of school, and I wouldn't wish that on anybody. It was a very inhuman experience. It was very much like both like a mental and emotional prison within the like physical just restrictions of not really being able to go out and see anybody. So it's just like you really, I guess like a good way to put this would be when your body is forced to be trapped, let your mind and your heart be free. Like I know that's like kind of that's a little cheesy now that I say that out loud, but it's like it's just it's also very true. It's a very real thing. Like why would you weigh yourself down, and why would you not back yourself? You know what I mean? There's like no fucking reason not to. It's like so everybody else tells you you're not gonna do something or something is gonna be like nearly impossible for you. So you're just gonna be like, oh well, shit. I guess that's the game on that one. No, why would you do that? Like I don't understand why kids our age do that all the time. It's like screw them. Like if you want to do something and you believe you can do something and you believe in something, do it. Like you can do it. I believe you can do it, but you have to believe you can do it. Is it gonna be easy? No. Is it always gonna work out? No. That's just kind of the reality of things. But if you kind of don't even try and you just give up, like mentally before you even take action, think about it like how silly that is. That's like, what's a good analogy for that? Okay, that's like doing a marathon and having the tenacity to make it all the way to within like 100 yards of the finish line and then just going, oh shit, I'm too tired. I think I'm just gonna sit down and give up. It's like, no, you're literally right there. You just need those last 100 yards are gonna be grueling because that's gonna be the hardest part of you actually, especially if you've never done a marathon or supposedly, or what I mean by that is if you've never kind of pushed yourself outside of your comfort zone before in terms of just like believing in something and believing in yourself. Yeah, it's going to be hard, you know? But it's like it's worth it. Like it's so worth it. I can't really put it any other way for you guys. It's like you have to like you have to back yourself. That's like three have tos. So, take that into consideration when you listen to this cuz that I'm a very big proponent of that concept. Like you have, if you don't, even if you have to fake it for a bit, honestly, and that's okay. Like because belief is important. So even if you have to fake belief and just like do it like for fun, basically, do it. You got to do something at the end of the day. And so yeah, hold on. Actually, I'm gonna check the people who asked for this just to make sure that I've kind of covered everything that they wanted me to cover. My bad. Um, yeah, and oh, actually, yeah, there was one more thing. So, um, one of my friends asked me about forgiveness for your past mistakes, which isn't directly related to quarantine and COVID and stuff, but it kind of is in the sense that I feel like with all this time that we have now and all this like potential for being bored, it's very easy for us to kind of slip into the whole like, oh, like remember when I did this like 5 years ago? That was so dumb. Like I'm a bad person because of it. It's like, no. People change in 5 years, especially if you're actively thinking about these things and you're trying to change and you're trying to avoid those things, you're changing. Like you're doing the right thing, And there's no reason for you to get down on yourself because honestly, like if you're actively thinking about like, oh, like I did this like however long ago, that was really bad. That's kind of a good thing because that means that you understand that what you did, like whatever you did, wasn't the best decision at the time. So now you're kind of setting yourself up for success in the sense that you are pushing yourself to become better and you're acknowledging your faults and your misdeeds pretty much. And by acknowledging your misdeeds, that's a very mature thing to do. So if you're in that position where you kind of just find yourself being like, oh man, like I feel really guilty about doing this at this point, this at this point, it's like you're in a great position, man. Like you're reflecting, you're learning. And yeah, maybe most of the time like you're most likely right. It's like maybe that wasn't the best decision on your part, but you have to remember that most situations are a two-way thing. So the other person also could have probably done something better. And it's like at the end of the day we're all human. So, just don't be too critical of yourself. Just kind of understand that what you did may not have been the decision you wanted to make, and next time you're in a similar situation, make the right decision. That's all it really comes down to. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this one. I'm definitely gonna be making more of these though, because I like really like these a lot. These are really fun for me to talk about because I just love talking about life stuff and just kind of again, I just love like being able like the prospect of these videos possibly helping people like makes me really excited and it makes me really happy. So hopefully you guys are getting something out of these. I know this one was a little long, my bad. It's like 12 minutes already, but this was definitely a very big and I thought a very relevant topic. So I hope you guys got something out of this. Next video will most likely be about body image or the toxic politics discussion. Or, sorry, not discussion, the question that I got. I haven't really decided yet, but I guess you'll see when you see. So, yeah, talk to you guys soon.